Hi, my name is Jonathan, and as an American, I am really concerned about the future of this country. Really concerned about the path our country is going towards in the future, and I think the best hope for our country is if the United States would become an Islamic country. Like if Americans en masse converted to Islam. Like Americans would leave secularism, Americans leaving Christianity. That is the best hope for the generations of Americans to come, is to become a Muslim country. So I invite you, the vloggee, I think you call it vloggee, to look into Islam, to read the Quran for yourself, both in English and Arabic. Visit your local mosque and ask the Muslims there, ask the Imam there a variety of questions about Islam, and be open-minded about Islam, because that is the best hope for our country. I think it would be totally awesome if all these mega churches all around the country were converted into mosques. Like clearing out all the pews in the mega churches and just a floor, and putting in big, tall minarets on the mega churches, like all around the country. These mega churches converting into mosques. Like me, I myself would remain a devout Eastern Orthodox Christian, but unlike the rest of Americans, because most Americans are very wishy-washy when it comes to religion. Even religious Americans, they're very wishy-washy about religion. They're very fickle when it comes to living out their faith. So, like, converting into Islam, Americans converting to Islam, is a good way, like becoming a convert. Converts are generally quite radical, and converts to religion are more serious about their faith than other people. Like I know personally, because I am a convert to Eastern Orthodoxy. I used to be an evangelical Christian, and now I'm Eastern Orthodox. And I'm very radical and very passionate about my faith. Back on to what a convert goes through. So I want to give you, vloggy, 6 reasons why the U.S., the United States, becoming a Muslim country would be good for Americans. It would be so good, healthy for Americans. First reason is if Americans converted to Islam en masse, Americans would pray more. Like, Americans wouldn't feel so rushed with living life. Americans would slow down and see what matters in life. Americans would focus more on their family. Americans would focus more on what matters in life by praying 5 times a day. And Americans would not make rash decisions by having the prayer life at the level of Muslims. Like, Americans would pray more, and that would be very healthy, both psychological health and emotional health for Americans. Americans becoming Muslim because they would pray more. That's a very good reason why Americans should become Muslims. A Muslim country, America. The second reason why I think the U.S. should become a Muslim country for the best hope for our future is that there would be less adultery. Americans would respect sex a whole lot more than we do now, and Americans would respect the female body. Like the female body would not become a commodity if we became a Muslim country. United States of Islam. Can I say that? Yeah. So, like, sex would even be better because Americans commit so much adultery, and because we do not respect sex, and the female body is just a commodity. Americans have really bad sex. Americans do not know how to have sex. So becoming Muslims would enhance the sex lives of Americans, for real. So less adultery, respect for sex, why Americans become Muslims. So the third reason why it would be good for the United States, for the U.S. to become an Islamic country, is that would significantly minimize hypocrisy. Like, Americans are so hypocritical, especially the religious in America, because instead of going to church once a week, Americans would go to mosque. Like, every day of the week, Americans would go to the mosque and pray. You're supposed to pray 5 times a day, but generally worldwide, Muslims go to mosque more frequently than Christians, even devout Christians, go to church. So, and that would minimize hypocrisy. Americans would stop being so huge hypocrites if we became a Muslim country. The fourth reason I think it'd be a great idea specifically for our economy, if America became an Islamic nation, is that oil prices would go down, most likely, because Saudi Arabia would quite possibly give us a huge discount on oil if Americans en masse converted to Islam. So, and that is a big concern for Americans, is the price of oil. So, America becoming an Islamic country, gas prices plummet and we can afford gas. And that is excellent. Okay, Americans can convert to Islam, oil prices go down. Saudi Arabia has our arms that we just would love Saudi Arabia to give us so much oil. The fifth reason why it would be good for Americans to convert to Islam, for America to become an Islamic country, is that we would no longer be monolingual. Okay? Because Americans only speak one language, unlike the rest of the world where everyone else knows at least two languages. Like, I understand Americans are not the brightest people in the world, but like if Americans converted to Islam, if the United States became an Islamic country, we would at least be bilingual, because you need to read the Quran in Arabic, and you need to pray in Arabic in Islam. So learning Arabic, like, that would make us smarter people. Becoming Muslims would make us smarter. Really would. Because no another second language, Arabic. So, the final reason, the sixth reason why it would be good for the United States to become an Islamic nation, abandoning Christianity, abandoning secularism, is that that's the best way for Americans to make a justifiable atonement for the United States military killing so many innocent Afghani children and killing so many innocent Iraqi children. Like, what can you do to make up for the fact that in this war on terror, we've killed more innocent people than we've killed terrorists? Like, what can we do to make up for that? Like, the only way I know to make up for the fact that we've killed so many innocent children in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places, is if the United States became an Islamic country. Americans converting to Islam. That's the best way to make up for the fact that we've killed so many children. So, that's all I wanted to say. That the best hope for the United States of America, if we were to survive as a country, if American families are to survive, if our economy is to survive, if our whole political system is to survive in the future, we should become a Muslim country. Okay? Best hope for America. I love you.